One of Georgia's most influential and frequently criticized political organizations may be ending its run.
The New Georgia Project, started by Stacey Abrams, is closing its doors after more than a decade of registering voters, mobilizing communities, and reshaping Georgia's political contours.
It was 4.216, so $4.2 million that they didn't disclose any contributions they illegally took.
So it kind of looks like she's found the loophole. Start an organization, get funds into it from the government or from donors, do it in a kind of squirrely way, pay your friends and pay your people, use some of that money to benefit yourself, get in trouble, start over. You know what I'm saying? And the next time, go for more money. And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today in the state of Georgia, way down in Georgia, they had a Senate hearing today. And you know who they talked about? They were supposed to be talking to your girl, Fonnie Willis, but she stiffed them. She didn't come. Supposed to show up next month in December. So we're going to see if that happens. But instead of taking their time talking to Fonnie, they talked about your other girl. The girl you see on the screen, yeah, it was Stacey Abrams, y'all. And they broke down her whole New Georgia project. I don't know if what we would call it, y'all. I want to use respectful language, but you watch today's video and you're going to see why this organization founded by Stacey Abrams received the highest campaign finance fraud. I'm not going to call it fraud. Campaign finance violation fine in the history of the state of Georgia, y'all. And you're going to see why in the media they say, oh, well, Stacey Abrams, she founded it. But she wasn't involved when all of the bad stuff was going on. Well, we're going to see about that too. And finally, y'all, this organization is closing down after they raised millions of dollars of illegal campaign finance funds and spent it on your girl, Stacey Abrams, losing the governor's race twice and then giving up the last of their pennies on this $300,000 fine for illegal funds. Now they have closed their doors, y'all. So we're going to give you the whole story. This is going to be a very interesting and eye-opening video. So make sure you watch to the end, y'all. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. But before we do, y'all, we are launching our official Patreon. So if you want to be a founding member on our Patreon, we have just 222 slots, y'all. If you want to be a founding member, go down, click the very first link in the description, and you're going to feel good about this, y'all, because believe it or not, we are an actual paralegal school, and we help people get their paralegal certificate and get working in the paralegal field. And all of the proceeds from our Patreon, when you enroll as a founding member, all of that is going to go to scholarships for people who would like to study at our institute, y'all. So click that first link down in the description. Join us as a founding member, y'all. This deal will not come back. Now let's get into the story.
One of Georgia's most influential and frequently criticized political organizations may be ending its run.
Your Georgia State House reporter Abby Kasouris examines how this move could reconfigure the 2026 election.
The New Georgia Project, started by Stacey Abrams, is closing its doors after more than a decade of registering voters, mobilizing communities, and reshaping Georgia's political contours. For Democrats, it's a painful loss. For Republicans, it's a long-desired victory.
So the New Georgia Project was a C3 and a C4 founded by Stacey Abrams in, I believe, 2013. It was a voter engagement organization. What it became was an unregistered independent committee that was failing to register, disclose, and report the money it was raising and spending to influence the 2018 and 2019 elections.
Their activities get them under your purview.
That's right.
And if whatever their deal with the IRS is, if they are acting as a political action committee or as an independent committee or a campaign committee, they have to register with you.
That's correct.
And had those groups registered with the State Ethics Commission?
They had not.
Okay. And were they required to do that?
They were.
So as you can see there, y'all, that's the person who he's the watchdog. You were just looking at the actual watchdog, and he said they were supposed to register, they didn't register, they were raising funds illegally or unlawfully, if you will, And yeah, so that got them in a whole world of trouble.
And I feel more people are voting this time around.
Across the state, the New Georgia Project was once everywhere, driving voters to the polls, knocking on doors, and claiming the registration of more than 500,000 Georgians.
We saw John Ossoff get elected. We saw Raphael Warnock get elected. We were close to getting Stacey Abrams in there.
Some credit it with helping flip Georgia in 2020 and building turnout, which led to 2 Senate runoffs. But that momentum faded.
This investigation began with a third-party complaint in 2018, 9 months before I took this job. And the allegation involved the Abrams for Governor campaign, potential issues of coordination, whether state law had been broken in the process. And the staff at the time began investigating this. And at some point in their investigation, the New Georgia Project came across their radar, primarily, I think, through social media, because they were seeing advertisements made on social media for paid canvassers, statewide field offices, things like that. At some point, I wasn't here, but according to affidavits and things like that, my predecessor told them to shelve it, put it in a closet.
Shelve the investigation?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, why would they say to shelve the investigation? Is it because perhaps a young girl was still involved? Or maybe it was benefiting her? Or maybe they just didn't want any static? I don't know. At any rate, after that person left their position, this investigator came on. He picked up the mantle and ran the ball all the way home, y'all. Now, you're going to see here shortly, was Stacey Abrams still involved? I mean, she was running for governor, and they were spending these unlawful funds on her governor's race, more than once, by the way, according to the allegations. Was she still involved? We're gonna see that here in a sec.
With this decision, we were able to kind of put some of those rumors to bed and really focus on the issues that matter.
The response was immediate. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp's team saw the closure as vindication, releasing this statement. Georgians everywhere can rest easy tonight knowing there is one last way for Stacey Abrams to fleece people and get rich. Meanwhile, NGP leaders framed the move as a closing chapter and a passing of the torch.
A transition. This is a regeneration, if you will. There's a new generation of freedom fighters out there ready and committed to doing that work.
With the New Georgia Project dissolving, Democrats see a void in grassroots voter outreach, one they are looking to fill.
The claim was she left the organization in 2017, right before she kicked off for governor.
Okay.
But Secretary of State business documents showed that through the 2018 election, the New Georgia Project was still headquartered at the office suite that was her corporate office, Third Sector Development. Checks were cut to New Georgia Project and sent to the USPS box, or the UPS box, that Third Sector Development had, leased out originally.
That's a new term, Third Sector Development. Is that an entity?
It is, my understanding is it's a corporate entity that she founded in 1999. And was essentially her corporation throughout that period of time.
Any other ownership of that Third Sector Development Corporation other than Stacey Abrams?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So she has a corporation. She's taking money from that corporation and cutting checks back and forth to New Georgia Project.
And I don't remember if Third Sector Development I think they may have given a little money to New Georgia Project. New Georgia Project was incorporated. I should have said this. They were incorporated in 2017 when she left the organization to run for governor. But they were founded in 2013. And when New Georgia Project was founded, they were founded as a division of Third Sector Development.
Okay. And so that's why all your antennas and radars went off, because you've got the candidate themselves and they are whatever you're going to call the independent committee that have common ownership, founding, et cetera, and they're working in tandem to elect Stacey Abrams.
I think the fair way to put it is the concern was this is a shadow super PAC that's not registering and disclosing, that's advocating for the person that founded them and is still headquartered at her corporate address.
Good enough.
So y'all check out the amount of money that they were dealing with. These unlawful campaign finance funds, y'all, it was a significant portion of Stacey Abrams's overall campaign war chest. At that time, this $3 to $4 million represented a significant portion of her overall money that she had to spend.
And I do want to point this out. 4.2 million is the number we're talking about with this entity.
Okay.
That may, to some people in the political sphere, not seem like a lot now. But in 2018, that was a ton of money. In 2022, Governor Kemp and Miss Abrams ran against each other again. And in 2022, The governor raised total a little over $100 million. She raised almost 140.
What about in 2018?
In 2018, 22 million and 27 million. So this is a pocket of illegal money that's 15 to 20% of the whole kit and caboodle of the campaign.
Okay.
That's a significant influx, as I don't need to explain to y'all. That's a significant amount of money at the time.
So once the investigator discovered all of these unlawful funds, I cut out so much because there was listen, this New Georgia project, y'all, they put up a huge fight. They went to court, they went to state court, they went to federal court, they went back to state court. It was a whole rigmarole, and it lasted for years and years and years. But at the end of the day, the watchdog, his office won, and he was able to impose a fine on them. And it was, again, as I mentioned earlier, the biggest fine, the biggest campaign finance related fine in the state of Georgia's history, y'all.
The group struggled with leadership transitions, funding shortfalls, and mounting lawsuits. The group admitted to campaign finance violations and agreed to a $300,000 fine. Other legal questions remain unresolved as the organization winds down.
It was 4.216, so $4.2 million that they didn't disclose any contributions they illegally took. They admitted failing to disclose in those reports just over $3.2 million in political expenditures. They went on to admit that they failed to register as a ballot committee in 2019 on the Gwinnett Martyr referendum, that they failed to file certain reports as a referendum committee, and that they failed to disclose $646,000 in illegal contributions in 2019 and about $173,000 in illegal expenditures in 2019.
What made those contributions illegal? The fact they were not reported?
Not reported, not disclosed. No one knew they were making them until 2022 when we get the bank records.
Is that money over and above the 4.2 million you had uncovered?
Correct. So they admit all that.
They admitted their activity was in direct support of Stacey Abrams or other Democratic candidates.
They admitted all the allegations that we just covered that we made about the money and the evidence we provided of the mailers, things like that.
You fined them $300,000?
Correct.
Was that a negotiated amount, or was that something imposed by a judge or a commission?
It was a negotiated amount. And I want to be clear about this. Personally, I think it should have been higher. But the reality is, as we see now, they didn't have it.
So we have reported on this previously, this Stacey Abrams organization. They always say that she wasn't involved with it when all of this was but they were using the money for her gubernatorial campaign, allegedly. So same office building, she started the organization. You let me know what you think, y'all. So this organization's done. But y'all, if we know anything about Stacey, about your girl, good old Stacey, listen, we're also covering another Stacey Abrams founded organization that's currently fighting for $2 billion. And it looks like that case may very well be going to the Supreme Court at some point. You know, frankly, and we're following up. That's another thread of videos. So it kind of looks like she's found the loophole. Start an organization, get funds into it from the government or from donors, do it in a kind of squirrely way, pay your friends and pay your people, use some of that money to benefit yourself, get in trouble, start over. You know what I'm saying? And the next time, go for more money. You know what I mean? You got 4 million. Well, let's go for 2 billion next time. Who knows? Her next organization might go for a cool trilly. Anyway, y'all, let me know what y'all think about this. This is kind of it's a little fun, but it's also following up. I like to provide some follow up to our previous videos because you hear something on the news and then you never know what actually happened. Well, now you know what happened. The New Georgia project, they closed down. It's over. Stacey Abrams got off scot-free. She started another organization and got $2 billion. Okay, that's what happened. Drop a comment down below, y'all. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. For the people who want to support our channel, like you really like what we do here, you want to support us, click the first link down in the description. Subscribe to our Patreon, y'all. Not only will you get additional content, but you'll also support people who are looking to start their careers in the legal field because all the proceeds go to scholarships, y'all. Want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. We'll see you back in the next one.